Jacques Dubé, our CAO.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate your kind words, and certainly thank you for inviting me to speak now and for your tremendous leadership as we navigate through this public health crisis together. I would also like to start by thanking our amazing staff for working tirelessly over these past weeks to adjust municipal services accordingly in an effort to keep our residents safe. Changes in the municipality have been significant, but they have all been necessary in the fight against COVID-19. All these efforts combined will help to flatten the curve and reduce the spread of the virus in our communities. My confidence in our leadership team and their staff across all business units has never been higher. Words simply cannot express how proud I am to work along each of you, Mayor Savage and regional council members and partners like Halifax Water and the Halifax Partnership and all our employees in the face of this adverse, unpredictable, and complicated situation. I would also like to thank our mayor and each councillor who has selflessly used their wide networks and influence for the good of the community to promote important public health messages to our residents. This is a team effort, and while there's still much work ahead of us, I am confident that as a team, we can get through this challenging time together. I'd like to speak a little bit about health and wellness. You know, folks, none of us have faced this type of health emergency in our lifetime. It's unprecedented. While we all have different ways of processing these challenges, it takes a toll on everyone. Understanding that everyone is coping with their own stress and worry right now, on top of work pressures, makes me appreciate the efforts of municipal employees even more. And as I have expressed to our employees, now more than ever, we must all do our very best to maintain a balance between work and life and to prioritize our mental, physical, and emotional health. Each of us must meet our collective responsibility to support and care for one another. Check in on your neighbors and colleagues and ask for support when you need it. In relation to service impacts, we have made adjustments to almost all municipal services over the past couple of weeks. Halifax Transit has been designated by the province of Nova Scotia as an essential service under the current provincial state of emergency. Transit will continue to operate on an adjusted schedule with several changes to the service model, including limiting passenger capacities, backup bus boarding, and suspended fee collections, all in an effort to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. Parks and Recreation have closed all facilities, canceled all programming, closed parks, playgrounds, sports fields and arenas, and many municipal trails. These steps will stay in place until further notice. In an effort to keep healthcare workers and those who need access to healthcare, we have waived fees at all meters and multi-permit parking until further notice. Customer service centers, planning and development permitting services, public libraries, and most other face-to-face services have moved to a distance delivery model where possible. We continue to post all service adjustments to our COVID-19 webpage at halifax.ca/coronavirus and are regularly sharing this information on all of our social media channels. In relation to the municipal budget, staff are continuing to review the impact of COVID-19 on the municipality's finances. We had originally been scheduled to approve the budget on March 24th, after many weeks of budget debate and public consultation. The uncertainty of the duration of this pandemic means staff will be looking at a number of different scenarios. Our budget is estimated at $1 billion for 2021, and a number of measures that council has taken to protect our staff and the public, as well as support businesses, has resulted in a decrease to our revenue. Bus fares from Halifax Transit alone normally bring in about $3 million a month. By adding foregone parking revenue and rent deferrals, we're seeing material changes to the budget. The plan is to revise the previously proposed budget as opposed to a full review, meaning there will be targeted reviews of budget areas such as vacancy management and program expenses as a result of closures. Finance staff will be looking at both the operating and capital budget to see what can be delivered this year and what can be deferred working with our business units. We are also continuing to have conversations with the province about infrastructure spending and the possibility of stimulus programs. The Mayor has said repeatedly that we will continue to pay our suppliers and keep capital work going wherever possible in order to support the economy. It is anticipated that finance staff will be back with a recast budget in late May, but as with all things COVID-19 related, that timeline is subject to change. In relation to tax deferrals, a number of businesses and residents have asked about deferring taxes. I can assure you that staff at the municipality and across the province of Nova Scotia are working on a plan to assist not only in the short term, but over the long term as well. An event such as COVID-19 will ripple through the economy long after the pandemic is over. Our objective is to establish a plan that will help businesses and individuals that have been impacted by COVID-19 in a meaningful way, to support their ability to remain viable in the longer term. Today, at Council, there is a notice of motion that moves both the residential and commercial tax bill due date from April 30th to June 1st. This is a short-term step that will ease some of the pressure businesses and individuals are facing. Our objective, however, is to come up with a repayment plan for taxes spread over the long term so businesses remain viable and people remain in their homes. In order for this to be successful, municipalities will need the help of the province of Nova Scotia. Our CFO, Jane Fraser, and Councillor Mason are sitting members of a joint team established by the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities and the Association of Municipal Administrators of Nova Scotia. The goal of that team is to look at a province-wide solution that the government of Nova Scotia can support. Both presidents of the NSFM and the AMA Nova Scotia have written to the Premier and Ministers of Finance, Business, and Housing and Municipal Affairs. It is critical that those who can pay their taxes continue to do so. Tax revenue makes up 82% of the municipality's revenue. We spend approximately $100 million per month, and while we are financially sound, we do require a significant amount of cash flow in order to provide services and keep capital work going for vendors and suppliers. In relation to human resources, we continue to focus on delivering the highest level of municipal service that can be reasonably provided, while continuing to take steps that help minimize the spread of COVID-19. We're reminding residents that service levels will continue to be adjusted as necessary based on available operational resources. As a responsible employer, we continue to assess our human resource levels and adjust accordingly. At this time, we have postponed many job competitions, but continue to recruit for positions deemed necessary in the short term. In conclusion, Mr. Mayor, while we don't know precisely when this pandemic will end, we anticipate current operations will function as they are now until at least the end of June. We will, of course, continue to monitor this very closely and update regional council and residents regularly and as new information becomes available. Thank you all again so much for your efforts in reducing the spread of COVID-19, and I'm glad we can all be here today to continue moving forward with important municipal business. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.